Welcome back to the second part of our first day. Again, if I go back to the protocols, could you turn on your videos, please, so that we can see you. Hopefully you've had time for a coffee like me, and let's go into the second part. So I'd like to introduce Monica Polaris, who's our chair of the Communications and External Relations Committee, an incredibly important part of IFLA's effectiveness. Monica, over to you.
Thank you very much, James. Hello to all. It's really nice to see you even in this online work council. Hopefully we can really meet in person next year, and hope you are all safe. Thank you very much. And for the ones that don't know me, I'm Monica Pallares. I'm from Mexico. I'm based in Mexico City, and I am the chair of the Communications and External Relations Committee. So I share my screen. Well, just a remark, sharing globally, it's a topic we selected for this year's council, and I think it's important to have this vision of IFLA as a global federation, and that's mainly the commitment we have at the moment as the communications committee. We really, and I think it's this strategy, it's been going well, because outside people start looking more IFLA as a global federation that really it's representing all the people, all the landscape architects in the world, in the different regions. So here briefly my report. I hope you all have read our reports previously. So the route that I in this committee I have defined for 2021, it's the most important is number one, to start the establishment of the new working groups, because as you know, this committee has been just held by one person before me, Bruno, and it's really a big challenge to be run just by one person, and of course the great support from Sally. So that's important. So to have the establishment of these new working groups, the ones I presented last year, and I will speak about that later, because in that way it will be possible to achieve all the tasks of the committee. Also, the second point was to follow up the establishment of the Sir Jeffrey Jellicoe Award Secretariat. One of our purposes is also to make this very visible, this award. It's the most important award in the world for landscape architects, and we really want to make this happen in the position it has to be. So that's a work we have been doing. I have been doing with Garrett Doherty, and together also with the jury, and it goes also step by step, but we are really making good progress on that. And also to follow up the World Congresses organization, not just the one from this year. Also, we are attending the upcoming ones. And of course, the constant improvement of IFLA communications media. So all these actions are referred, of course, to IFLA plan and IFLA business plan. Talking about governance, talking about services to members, and raising the profile of the profession. According to IFLA plan, all the tasks are related to that. Mainly communications is very important for these three topics: for governance, for the services we as federation are providing to our members, and the most important, I think, to raise the profile of the profession worldwide. That's the message we want to give through all the communications strategy. So finally, the working groups are being settled. It has taken this half of the year because we needed to start defining them. So the first one is the link working group. This group is in charge of what we want to have with this working group is to generate all the contents of IFLA. That's really hard work to do. So through this working group, we want to have the contents we want to share. And so that's mainly, but also these contents would allow us to have fresh information for the website and the IFLA news to have constantly updated. And also generate contents from IFLA to share through social media. That means at the moment in our social media, we mostly share information from other associations. Of course, that's part of the services we provide. But I think also we need to generate information that comes out from IFLA, that comes out from the working groups. And that's the idea also, to generate these contents that come from IFLA and are shared in our social media. That's part of what we want. And also we want to work, feed, and keep and update this. This is the idea, I think, from the day one we started as an exco to generate a knowledge hub, and we hope we can achieve this task. So we made a call for the working groups. We appointed Nadine Bitar from Middle East as chair of the working group. And we made also a call for members from the different, from all the world to be members of the working group. We had a great response from enthusiastic people from Africa, and I want to thank them very much. But still, we need representatives from all the other regions. So I really want to invite you to support on this. From the different regions, we need representatives for the working groups. That's important. That's also in the terms of reference of the working groups. But at this moment, for the link working group, where there's a strategy defined on communications, we decided in the working group, we voted for that, to start working with this team. And really we would like to members from other regions join this working group. It's really interesting, and also it's how can I say, kind of funny, I would say, to share all this information we have and to spread it. This working group in the short term wants to, we want to set really an homogeneous branding identity for IFLA. We still need to strengthen this to be really identified in all the information we get out as IFLA, as working groups, as committees. Also to integrate contents, to start integrating all the contents based on a strategic plan, on a campaign. We are designing a monthly campaign with the specific topics, and with that then start launching everything in the website, in the news, and in social media. And in the mid and long term, we have the proposal from the chair to rename our media, also to make it stronger. IFLA News to IFLA Gazette, and IFLA Bulletin to IFLA Community, in order to give another perspective to our communications, and to set that in the very long term. But we really would like to have that a program of IFLA webinars with a regular basis. We don't know if monthly or bi-monthly, and with very specific topics related with IFLA's mission, also related with these monthly campaigns we are proposing. The other working group we have set, and I also would like to say hello to the chair that is joining us, is the Congress working group. The purpose of this group is, as you know, to develop the new guidelines. We want a new model for the IFLA World Congresses, a new and different strategy where IFLA can get more involved in the organization of the Congresses. So now And we, the proposal for this working group is also that if we set this new structure, these new guidelines, a financial model, then we can define these guidelines approved and start working with that. The idea is for the upcoming Congress in 2025. Hopefully we hope we can do it. And after that, probably the idea is to propose an IFLA secretariat that organizes the IFLA World Congress. But that should go step by step to make these decisions. The idea for this is to define, we would like to do that, to have it ready in 6 months. So this is how it's integrated at the moment, the working group. We also made a call. We appointed Ambrosio Fafa from Africa. He's the chair, and I know he's at the moment here joining, so thank you for being here. We have 2 members, one from Africa and one from APR. They are starting working also. And I also want to make a call for the other regions for their support on recommending who could be a member of this working group, because it's important really to have representatives from all the regions. So, and in the upcoming 6 months, the idea is to complete integrating these members of the regions, but also to design the model. Also in conjunction, a financial model with the FVP committee, and to work on the draft of the new guidelines. And really that's what we want to achieve in the upcoming 6 months, to be circulated within the delegates. So you can know them, we can go forward on this work. And then we also have the working group. This working group would be in charge of the organization, development, launching, and carry out of the IFLA awards. This work on the awards has been done for a long time by Bruno, the previous chair of this committee, and we are retaking it. We made a call with no success for the chair, so we approached to candidates, potential candidates, and one of them is Marina Cervera, who said yes, and we appointed her with the support and endorsement of the EXCO. And mainly the action on the proposal, very interesting proposal, is to involve in existing awards and using IFLA potential for coordination as an umbrella organization. We don't want to have something new, because that will mean a lot of work, a bigger structure, and we don't have it, and that's not the idea. We would like more to have an approach to nonprofit organizations or national associations awarding prizes that are already there of landscape architecture, and search that there's a collaboration with IFLA. So we will be represented in these awards, in these prizes, and that will give also visibility to IFLA and also to these awards in the world. About the Sir Geoffrey Jellicoe Award, you know, we have been working for a new identity, and it's there together with Gareth Doherty and other people that have been working together, not just to define this new identity, but also, you know, the medals we have for Sir Geoffrey Jellicoe Award and also for the President's Award. We established the award secretariat that will strengthen the work of the award, but also we need to set still things in order and to set the rules very clear. And also through this secretariat, we want to have supporters and help from other associations probably, but also to try to look for financial support. That's in some way the idea. And Gareth Doherty, we made a call also for nominations, and then Gareth Doherty was the one appointed as a director of the secretariat. Also, he has been really working with lot of input in this award. Rim, Alice, and Peter Sugh were appointed as members of the secretariat that are working together with Gareth. And so the work it's in the reorganization of this award process to have more clear the rules and many things that still are not in paper. And we launched this year's, even when the revision of all these process and rules are on the revision, we are launching this award for 2021, and part of the work is to follow all the process with Garrett and with Diana Wisner, that is the president of the jury members. And really would like to thank for really their commitment, just and also to the jury. As you know, the official announcement of the awardee of the Sir Geoffrey Jellicoe Award will be done in the opening ceremony of the IFLA World Congress next 18th, on Wednesday 18th. So be aware, because during that ceremony, the awardee will be announced. And just to tell you the new experience we got last year online, Professor Konjanju was the awardee of 2020. It was a challenge to do this ceremony online. James in Australia, me in Mexico, Sally in the UK, Konjanju in China, but we did it. It was really, behind the scenes, it was tremendous, but we did it. And also for this year, it has been a challenge, but it's there, it's prepared, everything it's ready. So that's part of the work. And also for the IFLA World Congress 2020, we have been doing a big effort working together with ILAM. As you know, the situation due to the COVID pandemic, and we had to move the Congress for this year. It represented a lot of work, also working with the associations for the upcoming congresses. But at the end, still after more than a year, there's no possibility to make it in present. So it was a big jump. It was a big jump, and I want to recognize that to ILAM. It was a big jump, a big effort. It meant a lot of things we have to have clear, because in terms of the investment they did for the Congress in presence, well, it had to change. Also, they don't have some of the income they were expecting from the government, for example. So, and this is a really big effort. This is going to be the online virtual scenario where you will be able to join the different places. This is a very nice illustration from the streets of Georgetown. And I think it will be a new experience. It will be really, really nice. And it's really a big effort, a big work. And we want to thank ILAM, because also it's the first IFLA online World Congress. And so I really want to recognize that and thank them from the big effort. So they continued in this commitment with IFLA, and it's there. This is part of the monthly meetings we have with the team, and is part of all also of the responsibility of this committee. And you will be able to see what more than 1,000 videos on demand. For some of you, included me in the work, it would be in different times, at very late at night, but still you will be able to watch on demand the videos of the different conferences and the ceremonies. So hopefully you can join this special, really very special congress. And in numbers, just to finish, the website has increased numbers from last year, from making the review of the statistics from last year. We got a 60% increase in visits, 70% increase in from last year unique visitors. It's the way our website makes the records of this information, and also the views of the pages has had an increase. So that's for us really good results. Also, this is interesting. The visitors now from the countries, I think, well, last year China was #1. Now this year is United States. This gives us a view on how there is interest from different regions of the world on our federation. So this is also in my report, but this gives us a good idea of how the website and the social media work. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn, we have Instagram, and we have, since last year, the channel in YouTube. Numbers have increased. Also, you can see how things move. For example, in LinkedIn, that it's more like for business perspective. It has a lot of participants, followers and members. We got increased in all of our social media. Twitter has a different public, and Facebook. So you can see we have these different targets and are working. Instagram became popular in the last years. So we opened the account in June 2021, and also a big increase of followers, 768. And you know, and for those that don't know, we have now the YouTube channel, IFLA World, and we are uploading constantly the videos we get from other associations and from our working groups. So we have subscribers. And finally, news and bulletin, we got more subscribers. In June 2021, we have 1,900, but I can tell you now we have at the moment 2,100. So that's also good to know. We are really getting to more public. And I want to thank the regional chairs that are doing great work. Especially, I want to thank Carval Calzo from Africa. He's in his last term, and also congratulate him because he will be now the secretary of IFLA Africa. And thank you to Jesus, to the region, and to Bosco, because the regions, the committees are doing a great work. Their IFLA regional news are fantastic, and they keep us updated. So thank you very much. And if there are any questions, feel free. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Monica. That's a really fantastic report that you've given us. We're just running a little bit over time now. So what I might do is, rather than ask for questions, can you send them through in the chat? This has been some really good chat. Some good response back. So just please keep on with the chat. What I'd like to do now is just to go to the next video on what landscape means to me. And this one's one from Chile. And again, I hope that that you'll like this. It's we thank Monica Morales for organising this and putting it together. Over to you, Piang, to play the video, please.
Desexilio de los paisajes ancestrales. Es romper el muro levantado para su exilio. Es abrir la ventana pétrea a un pasado de comunidad y diversidad, de unicidad y respeto, de espiritualidad, armonía y conocimiento que les permitió un profundo conocimiento de sus territorios a través de la íntima y multisensorial experiencia con el paisaje, evolucionando de acuerdo a su geomorfología, recursos y creatividad y a la síntesis y transmisión de los mismos. Riqueza de colosales paisajes y de etnias. Riqueza que nace de la espiritualidad entrañable con la Madre Tierra, con sentido del colectivo, de comunidad y del otro que incluyó a todos los seres vivos. Riqueza de lenguajes orales y gráficos por transmitir su sabiduría y rutas. Riqueza de síntesis y arte. Riqueza exiliada por la seducción de eternos modelos económicos extractivistas e imperantes que nos tienen en crisis por la voracidad de ambición y soberbia, que lo ha confundido todo, que lo ha mezclado todo, que lo ha ennegrecido todo, que nos lleva en distintas direcciones sin un propósito común y nos vuelve miopes, iguales, individualistas y desalmados. Salir de esa niebla, salir de esa soledad profunda y materialista y tener una esperanza de luz es ir de regreso y abrir la puerta al exilio de los paisajes ancestrales, a su gestión armónica del territorio, a su sabiduría y a la espiritualidad que nos amarra como sistema. No solo es un acto de justicia con los territorios y sus tenaces guardianes, es también una esperanza de reaprender como colectivo humano y desde allí reanudar caminos pasados y presentes de recuperación y reparación de nuestro paisaje raíz, por el sueño de un desarrollo de equidad y sustentabilidad. El camino de regreso, el camino de reaprender empieza en la comprensión, integración y acto comprometido con las lecciones anidadas en las cosmovisiones. Yo empiezo en la Mapuche, mi pueblo originario.
Oh, it's fantastic. So just thanks go to Monica Morales in Chile and her collaborators who put together that video, which again, of course, is all about learning from local. Oh, it's fantastic. Thanks so much. Now I'd like to introduce Salma, who's our chair of our EAA committee. And I'd like to thank Salma. There's a lot of difficulties that she's been experiencing living in Beirut. And we're really appreciative of the effort that she's gone to put together her committee report and also to be here. So it's wonderful you could do that. So thanks, Salma. So I'll hand it over to you for your report.
If you're watching this pre-recorded presentation, it means that the situation in Lebanon, where I'm based for the moment, became more tragic and the internet connection less reliable. So, without further ado, hello everyone! I'm Salma Samaha, IFLA Chair of Education and Academic Affairs. This year, we decided to build something positive out of the huge disruption caused by the COVID-19 worldwide and the global response that have dramatically changed people's lifestyles in much of the world. These major changes may lead to a variety of consequences for both nature and people and the dynamics of human nature interaction. These impacts could persist over the long term, including after it has ended. This without forgetting that the world is already facing incredibly serious environmental, natural resources challenges, etc. etc. But we have to be aware that our education, based on both arts and sciences, gave us the means and the tools to resolve issues that the societies are facing today, and in a sustainable way, our education can be the dynamo for attaining the UN 17 SDGs. We can truly positively transform people's lives. That's why the Education Academic Affairs Committee developed several levels of intervention and collaboration, having in mind its main goal to leave no one behind, from all landscape actors, students, professionals, researchers, and educators. That's why we are 1. Envisioning new forms of global collaboration in landscape education. With the growing landscape challenges across the globe, the need for knowledge on sustainable planning and design seems higher than ever. That's why we try to find out how we might create an open environment where diverse people from diverse regions and contexts can learn from each other. How can we set partnership and link it around shared interests for global sustainable development and a landscape approach? Since the pandemic has accelerated our ability to learn and teach online across places, institutions, and countries, we planned with ECLAS and the Notre Institute new forms of global collaboration in landscape education. It will be planning towards an open landscape academy. Remember it, open landscape academy. Our broader vision, 1, is creating an inclusive system to fight global injustice in access to high quality landscape education. 2, give wide access to the global while supporting bilateral partnership. 3, fill landscape education gaps by providing knowledge, tools, and shared platforms for training, etc., etc., and much, much more. Our target audience is the teaching staff around the world and graduated landscape architects with no easy and free access to updated knowledge in the field. As part of our first activities, I would like to invite you as IFLA community to a seminar and staff training on landscape democracy. Just send me an email, please. This research and collaboration is an ongoing process. More related institutions will be welcome to join this process, and the feedback will be shared frequently. So stay tuned for more and much more from the Open Landscape Academy. On the other hand, I would like to thank you all for your involvement in the online landscape architecture learning teaching experience assessment, the survey we launched about the educators and students' experience during the pandemic. As you might remember, 2 distinctive questionnaires were developed, one for the educators, another one for the students. The feedback was very encouraging, and the result will be analyzed and shared soon. The survey outcomes will be used to promote the building teaching capacity for educators as a way to achieve the EAA main goal for providing quality lifelong education for sure for all. Concerning the student competition and charrette, this year was extremely special at several levels. IFLA Student Design Charrette 2021 was very unique for 2 reasons. We celebrated the charrette 20th anniversary since it was held for the first time in 2001 in Singapore, and it was the first time the charrette is organized on a virtual platform. As for the student competition, it's notable that this year the jury panel was made successfully online for the first time ever. It was divided into several platforms, detailed assessment, and finalized by an online meeting. Based on the TOR developed last year and reviewed by the first IFLA student competition working group this year, the future competitions will have 3 categories: analysis and planning, applied research design, and general design. They were introduced to make sure for the competition to be responsive to the full scope and challenges of the landscape architecture, both education and profession. By the way, it would be great if you encourage your students to apply for this prestigious competition in 2022. We really, uh, we're really counting on you. We are really seeking a global participation from all IFLA countries, national associations, regions. Finally, we are seeking your support and endorsement for the 3 categories to be launched in the IFLA World Congress in few days, 2021, and the call for submission to commence in 2022. So for the student competition with the 3 categories, in addition to the amendment of the TOR. Another motion to vote will be the TOR of the IFLA Education Capacity Building Working Group. So thank you in advance for supporting the 3 EAA motions. As for the global education recognition and accreditation, and since the access to quality education is an opportunity for reducing inequalities and social mobility, we are finalizing IFLA global education recognition procedures to monitor landscape architecture quality education and ensure better learning outcome. For that, 3 pilot programs has been selected to apply the guidelines in China, Chile, and Morocco, covering 3 IFLA regions in the process. The results will be reviewed and will help finalizing the global education recognition procedures, which are a high priority for IFLA Exco and Council. By the way, concerning the PrEP named later IFLA database, a meeting is being scheduled in order to decide to finalize the fine tuning about how to proceed and updating the project. Finally, I want to take this opportunity to thank you all one by one, delegates and observers, for joining and for your valuable feedbacks. And for sure, a huge thanks goes to Ilam for organizing for the 2nd year in a row IFLA World Council and Congress, and finding amazing way to make us feel really communicating together, even virtually. Hopefully, we will be able to meet live soon. Stay safe.
Thank you very much, Salma. Salma's report was done to great difficulties and you came across so well. So thanks so much, Salma. That was fantastic. In that, I think too with Salma, hers is the longest report that we have. So I'd commend you to read it. I think, Salma, it's about 40 pages with appendix. So thank you for not reading it. It was a great summary that you did in it. Just to add just a little bit too, just on the recognition of the programs, I just like with Salma to thank Andrea and Marina and Mike Bartholomew from New Zealand for the amazing work they've put into the working group that has worked on those recognition programs for those universities. I thank them very much for that. So Salma, I think we've got a motion that you'd like to put. So I'll let you read it out.
Hello, everyone. So the first motion is to support and the endorsement of the IFLA World Council for the Student Competition. 3 new categories to be launched in IFLA World Congress 2021, and the call for submission to commence in 2022 IFLA World Students Competition. Any seconder?
We got a seconder.
I'll second.
Thank you. That's great. So I think maybe we'll just go straight into the motion. I'm just conscious of time. So if you could vote in favour, against or abstain for that, please submit. And then the second one, Salma?
So the second one is also related to the student competition, updated TOR, terms of reference. Thank you for the votes, 100% in favor.
So if we could vote on the second one as well, please. Some good feedback to Salma on the chat room for you in there as well. All right, great. Thanks everyone for that. Thanks very much, Salma. That was terrific. If there are any questions,
we have the third motion.
Please. Oh, sorry, Salma. Go for it. Yep.
So the third motion is related to IFLA Education and Capacity Building Working Group, TOR, terms of reference. And really we need your support and endorsement in order to activate the group. Thank you. Any seconder?
Yes, I can second.
Okay, thank you. That's it, Salma.
Wow, thank you.
Thanks, Salma. Okay, so what I want to do is if we can go on just to the last report for day one, which is from the PPP committee. So without spending more time, Colleen, introduce you as the chair of the committee.
Hi, everyone. Just trying to get this slideshow up. Which does not seem to want to cooperate. Here we go. Thank you, Piang, for stepping in. Sorry, everyone, technical glitch. Piang, can you run the backup copy, please? Thank you. Always have a backup copy. Good morning, everybody from Ottawa, Canada. It's purely delightful to be with you today. I just wish that I could be there in person. Today, I'm going to give you a report on our activities for the PPP, and I just have to get to my own notes so that I can report to you. Okay, here we go. So the IFLA Committee on Professional Practice and Policy has been functioning very well for many years now. There are 5 voting members from each of the regions providing excellent representation, and they've been an absolute pure delight to work with. In 2021, the voting members decided to invite the working group chairs from the PPP to also attend our monthly meetings to encourage improved communication and collaboration. The PPP, next slide, the PPP has 5 working groups: the Emerging Professionals Advocate, Landscape Architects Without Borders, and Climate Change, as well as 2 new groups added in the past year: Agricultural Landscapes and Professional Practice. The committee is charged, next slide, the committee is charged with advancing the profession throughout the world. And this includes a number of specific working groups: Landscape Architects Without Borders and Professional Standards, as well as the Emerging Professionals Advocate. Allies Without Borders has been building our relationships with aligned organizations working on disaster response and rebuilding in damaged areas. The Emerging Professionals Advocate continues their great work to integrate new graduates in the profession who are the landscape architects of our future. In order to assure harmonization of IFLA documents and standards, in 2020, we created the Working Group on Professional Standards chaired by Fritz Aueck of Germany. This working group will oversee task groups working on specific initiatives, such as the definition of the profession and the ethics statement. Both of these activities were completed in 2020. Also in 2020-2021, the committee has been working to provide more structure to IFLA roles with aligned international organizations, such as the agencies of the United Nations. We now have IFLA delegates formally in place with many of the UN organizations, and we're now referring to them as the IFLA Special Envoys, with a responsibility to bring the voice of our profession into important dialogues and to report on those discussions to IFLA management. At the IUCN, where I have the honor of being the IFLA Special Envoy, we are working to advance shared interests such as the Nature for All program and the standards, definitions, and implementation of nature-based solutions. IFLA's keen interest in cultural landscapes is being advanced through our partnership with ICOMOS, where the ICOMOS-IFLA International Scientific Committee on Cultural Landscapes, ably chaired by Patricia O'Donnell, who is also a landscape architect, already has more than 200 volunteers. Can I have the next slide, please? In addition to advancing the profession, the PPP is charged with overseeing the development and implementation of IFLA policy. In the 21st century, there are many issues of importance to the profession and to our role in stewarding the environment and enhancing the well-being of societies throughout the world. Let me remind you today of some of those past initiatives and summarize for you some of the exciting developments of 2020-2021. Next, please. I have lost my connection. One moment.
We can still hear you, Colleen.
Okay, can you see the slide presentation? Because I have lost all the communication here in Ottawa. So yeah, thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, we can see your slides.
Okay.
Colleen. It's up to the global accord, and then we can hear you really clearly. So
excellent.
Just keep going.
Thank you so
really
much.
Well. No, you're going really well.
I'm running blind here. Okay,
no.
So in 2017, IFLA committed to the global corridor and landscape architecture, which is 3 principles of resilience, transformation, and sustainability, all linked together to help us create a better world. In 2019, IFLA committed its organization to advancing the UN SDGs, 17 goals that will help us, guide us to create that better world. Also in 2019, IFLA made a declaration addressing the climate and biodiversity emergency. The 2019 declaration recognized that the stresses already placed on the natural world by human society are only made worse as the planet warms, as climates change, and severe weather impacts every corner of our tiny globe. Ecosystems throughout the world are deteriorating, habitats are declining, and many species are being lost forever. This declaration affirmed IFLA's commitment to a significant and long-term shift in thinking, behavior, and policy and practice. Next slide. IFLA's declaration on ecological and community health from 2020 continued the World Council on this path and endorsed a declaration strengthening our profession's focus on sustaining ecological and community health. IFLA again challenged the profession to promote understanding of the interdependence of natural and built environments and of our reliance on ecosystems and services such as the food and water that they provide. Also on the opportunities that sustainability offers in securing prosperity for both society and nature. Next slide. In 2020, with the creation of the IFLA Working Group on Agricultural Landscapes, more than ably led by Carlos Yankilovich from Costa Rica, we launched the Oasis Landscape and Agricultural Initiative just this past week at a Saturday symposium that had over 200 participants. Carlos Yankilovich and Armin Parhizi-Rad and their colleagues on this working group have clearly identified a need and moved IFLA into position to provide leadership in advancing food security and ensuring prosperity for the communities and families that feed us. Last week, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released their 6th report on climate change. And this one is a doozy. 233 authors from 65 countries made some of the strongest statements to date on the pace our world is warming, on the impacts we are already experiencing, and scarily, on what we can expect if we do not take more action now. It has been 2 years since IFLA made its declaration on the crisis in climate and biodiversity. We're still being challenged in our work and our lives by the global pandemic. And even though many of us have stayed out of our cars for months and months and months, the planet just keeps heating up. This year, we've had fires, droughts, floods, famine. Human and ecological devastation have been our constant companion. As a profession, landscape architects can do more to slow the pace of climate change and to better prepare society for the impacts. We must do more, and we must do more now. Next slide. Today, I'm presenting to you a call to arms, drafted on your behalf by landscape architects from around our world. The Climate Action Committee commitment is the result of an intense 5 months collaborative effort by an amazing team of volunteer landscape architects from across the globe. Next slide. And I hope you see these faces. The IFLA drafting team on the left, who prepared the text for the document and are now working on the communication plan and on supportive information for action. And I want to shout out here to Chris in Australia, Mark at the IFLA in the US, Vincent from Canada, Jane from the Landscape Institute in the UK, and Art from Thailand for the members who contributed so much to this drafting. Every word, every phrase, every sentence was examined. The commitment was then taken to the IFLA Working Group on Climate Change. Oh, I should mention that Pamela Conrad from the US chaired that IFLA drafting team. The IFLA Working Group on Climate Change, ably led by Kochkorn Vorkon from Thailand worked with the drafting team, and there was a back and a forth until we were satisfied with the text. Then the group referred it to the IFLA Committee on Professional Practice and Policy, where I have 5 of the best voting members anyone could ever ask for. They reviewed it again, made sure they were comfortable with the verbiage, and sent it up to the IFLA Exco with the 5 regional presidents and the committee chairs, and also, of course, our great president, James Hayter. So this was the process for the commitment that we are moving forward with and showing to you today. Next slide, please. There are 6 declarative statements: advancing the UN Sustainable Development Goals, attaining global net zero carbon emissions by 2040, enhancing the capacity and resilience of livable cities and communities, advocating for climate justice and social well-being, learning from cultural knowledge systems, and committing to leadership. I can say that the first 5 things are things that we are more or less already doing. We are just stating this commitment. But the last one is the one that I really encourage you to read and commit to. Landscape architects are uniquely placed to galvanize and lead a built environment response to this crisis. We've always collaborated with clients, suppliers, and allied professions to champion climate positive design, but the world needs us to step up. Our voice is a really important one because we are used to working across professions, and these crises will not be solved by any one discipline. They will only be solved by us all working together. Next, please. On August 19th, Thursday at 7 p.m. Malaysian time, Kachakorn Khan with Pamela Conrad and the voting members of the IFLA Working Group on Climate Change are leading a special forum in discussing IFLA's climate action commitment. I encourage you all to sign on for this, even though I know it's going to be the middle of the night for some of you, because it's a really important discussion as we go forward. Today we're asking, next slide. Today we're asking each of you as delegates from an IFLA National Association on Landscape Architects to take these 6 statements of commitment home to your associations and to your members. We are asking you to ask your associations to ratify and adopt these 6 statements as a testimony on how our profession will lead the world through these difficult times. We're asking all landscape architects to do everything within their power to take action to reduce global warming, to better prepare society for the changes on us and the changes to come, and to protect nature at all scales in all forms. Together, we are stronger. Together, we are better. And together, we will create a better world for all. Thanks, everyone. Sorry about the mix-ups as we were going through, and I look forward to all your comments.
Well done, Colleen. You did fantastically well, and just a great presentation, and continuing the work, showing the commitment of the landscape architecture profession to climate action. What I'd suggest is that because we're coming to the end of day 1 now, that we just hold the discussion on it today. I really encourage you to take up Colleen's call and then join in the Congress, the discussion that's so important for us as landscape architects in our commitment.
James, can I just add one more thing? Oh, thank you all for your patience, and an absolute thank you to the technical team in Malaysia, because that link just went down on me and I could do nothing. So thank you so much, Piang. Coming early next week, Monica and Sally will be working with the team to send you the actual commitment so that you can have text copy to distribute to your national associations and to begin the discussion on this. And we hope the action on it. We're going to be following it up through the fall with a whole group of presentations, papers, and in November of this year, the IFLA commitment will be shared with the Conference of Parties at COP26 at Glasgow. So we are definitely on the move, and we need your help to really make this happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen. It's great to see this fantastic passion and commitment. So if we could just go, Pei Yang, to our last slide, if we could, please. We're at the end of day one. So the World Council meeting consists of 2 days. I'm sorry, we haven't had more time to debate some of these really fantastic presentations and to comment on them. Just if you've got comments on Colleen's or Salma or Monica or Jeremy's reports, please send them through on the chat rooms, or keep the chat room open for a little while, and then we'll be recording what those comments are. Tomorrow, we start again at the same time, and there are really 3 parts to it. One is that we'll hear from our regional presidents, their reports. Secondly, we'll continue along with 2 more videos of what landscape means to me, and if they're as good as the ones we saw today, I think that's just fantastic. I'm looking forward so much to them. And then the third part of the meeting tomorrow will be a quick poll we've taken of 7 associations who are going to report on what are the challenges facing landscape architects in their country. And again, the intent of this is to reinforce that global inclusiveness of our profession and the importance that we have as a value-based discipline in being able to affect change. So thank you all very much for attending this meeting. 2 final things. One is tomorrow night after the day wraps up, we'll have an after party. So I hope you'll join us on that. I'd like to thank the tech team at ELAM very much for getting us through the day. And then finally, if you haven't registered and signed up for the 57th IFLA World Congress following the World Council meeting, please do, and please take back to your associations the news of the Congress. It's going to be a fantastic one. We're going to be talking about a lot of these topics we're talking about now again at the Congress. So I'd really encourage you to just spread the word through your associations, and if people haven't signed up, to register for the Congress now. So with that, I'll be ending today. Thanks all for attending. I really look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Continue using the chat room or send us an email if you can see ways that you'd like us to sort of improve on the World Council meeting. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Take care.